In this video, we're going to be finding out about another Cosmos-based project, another project in the Cosmos ecosystem that is going to make a difference to the entire ecosystem in terms of pursuing decentralization and censorship resistance.
NordVPN is becoming more than just a VPN. Threat protection will guard your device against malicious websites, malware, trackers, and intrusive ads, even if you're not connected to a VPN server at the time. Step up your cybersecurity and stay safe.
Got crypto? Got a hardware wallet to keep your crypto safe? Then you have to have one of these to keep your seed phrase safe. The KEYSTONE tablet is fireproof, waterproof. You can use it to store 12-word, 18-word, 15-word, 24-word seed phrases. It comes with a full set of letters and everything you need to make sure that your seed phrase never gets destroyed or disappeared. Get one, get two, get three, have multiple copies. Use my affiliate link in the description below. Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. Now before I introduce my guest, what am I going to do? I am going to ask you to subscribe to me on bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey. This is an Odyssey censorship resistant platform. All it takes is an email, sign up, no KYC, and you get to earn crypto just for watching videos. How cool is that? Plus, it's censorship resistant because YouTube doesn't like some of the things that I might say. So please follow me there. Also, join my official Telegram announcements channel where I post all my videos. And follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT. Hey, Erman, thank you so much for making yourself available.
Thank you, Rich, for allowing me to join you in your introduction.
Hey, not at all, not at all. And everybody should know we've already had a good chin wag, for the conversation, good chat for about 20 minutes before we started recording.
That's right.
And we're going to be talking about aioz.network, which is IBC, interoperable, all that business. But what is it?
Yes, so great question. So aioz network is basically, think of it as a BitTorrent on blockchain or AWS on blockchain. Right. So AWS means Amazon Web Services. It's basically the infrastructure that actually powers the websites of the world. They're basically a content delivery network.
Okay.
And that our project builds application where users can download. If you have a device on a Mac or Windows or Ubuntu, the application actually utilizes the computer unused resources in three main areas. One, which is storage, which is the HDD and SSD for storage of digital media files. Two, we're doing bandwidth delivery, which is very, very important. It needs bandwidth to push and deliver media files to the dapps, right? And then we have transcoding, which is basically compute of live streaming, right? Yeah.
Okay. Now, what in all that you said, it all sounds great, but the thing that really triggered me, really got me thinking, not in a bad way. Right. But stimulated me. Oh, BitTorrent on Cosmos. Now, for people who don't know what BitTorrent is, and you may correct me here because you're probably more of a techno whiz than I am, I promise you, is BitTorrent. It forms part of the original protocol that Satoshi Nakamoto developed to give us Bitcoin. And what BitTorrent is, it's fully decentralized and it allows for file sharing services, and Pirate Bay, plus some of the others like LimeWire and everything, run on the BitTorrent network. So it's older than Bitcoin, incredibly robust, because despite the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent by Hollywood and Bollywood to stop file sharing, they've not been able to because it's decentralized. So that's really, really interesting. That sort of decentralized. So decentralized file sharing, decentralized bandwidth sharing, and the last one I didn't understand, decentralized transcoding.
Right. So that is basically one of the computes that is necessary for live streaming, whereby media files tend to be compute into different resolutions, and that's required for live streaming because every devices out there are fragmented by the device power, fragmented by the internet bandwidth that the device is on. Some are on megabits, some are on gigabits, right? So the files need to be transcoded in various formats to fit the device playbacks. Yeah. So it uses basically GPUs.
Okay, so would it mean that I'd be able to broadcast live streams on aioz network?
Right. That's our plan into the future. Currently, we have enabled the storage and bandwidth delivery. So transcoding means that we have to enable the GPU on a decentralized manner,
Right.
because we will need to enable it only when we have reached a form of critical mass. Because make no mistake, live streaming is a very highly intense, resource intensive computational task. So our nodes needs to be of a certain number, a certain quantity. Currently, we have about 50,000 nodes that participated in our network, and that's only doing storage and delivery. At the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then the sharing of the bandwidth network is so that there's enough bandwidth for across the network for people to upload files and download files, and then from them to be split up and put all over the place. Because that's how I understand BitTorrent works.
Mm, Right. So I
Right?
think in terms of bandwidth, what we do essentially is we apply AI in terms of routing. So let's say if your particular bandwidth is gigabits, while mine is megabit, our network will recognize that we want to allocate the so-called delivery from your device to the user instead from me, because you got higher bandwidth. Essentially, we be efficient in our routing in that sense.
Okay. Okay. And then the download is because I suppose like how Pirate Bay works and LimeWire and stuff is that somebody uploads a
Mhm.
file, and that file gets split up across the Pirate Bay
That's
or
right.
LimeWire
Segments.
network, and then somebody goes to download it, and then all those little pieces from across are then downloaded as one file to that person's computer.
You're absolutely right. So typically, when uploader through a dApp, right, they upload let's say a certain file or certain size. What we do is splice the particular, let's say 1 GB into megabytes, and then we splice it up, and the segments are distributed across, replicated across these devices that are part of the network. They can be a factor of 10, it can be a factor of 20, and they're all distributed. So at any one time, there's a slight difference between us and BitTorrent is that the user the BitTorrenter tend to keep the entire file inside the device, but we don't. So any one point, the devices, they don't keep any one main file. It's basically a segment, and they're all encrypted. So you cannot click on the file and see what's inside the file too. So it's encryption. It's a privacy as well.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So essentially, we're creating an ecosystem of uh, devices that are unused to be fully utilized. Right. So typically, consumers, you and I, are consumers of bandwidth. That means we download.
Yeah.
Right. And typically, the applications that we use are the uploaders. So there is a disparity, right? One is constantly uploading, the other one the consumer, are constantly downloading, right?
Right.
So what we built is a project that enables the bandwidth that we subscribe to not only download, we also upload. And by participating in the network, you allow the user will be rewarded with our ecosystem tokens. Yeah.
Okay. So the user would earn for spare capacity. Okay. But in terms of like what you offer
Mhm.
and what you're building, what's the benefit of that what's the social benefit of that, apart from those individuals, but on a more communal scale?
Right. So from a large vision, I mean, from a large big picture perspective, and the future vision we have is having a community of peer-to-peer nodes everywhere around the world, where is neighborly connection. Right. You're my neighbor, and then we are part of this network. We can stream to each other the files,
Right.
and thereby lowering the latency and improving the streaming experience. And we strive for a lower lag into the future as well.
Okay.
Basically, that's
And
what we want to do.
right. And am I right in understanding it? What you're building is a peer-to-peer, censorship-resistant platform that would allow people to share information in a way that can't be captured or regulated by increasingly authoritarian governments.
Mm, Right. So I think on that note, right, the censorship resistant requires more on the decentralized apps, whereby they have their own policy. They will create their own terms and conditions. For us, we are the infrastructure layer. We're taking in and storing these files, right, encrypting it. And our job as the network and the devices, that the peer-to-peer, is to provide the service, which is to
Right.
push the files up, right?
Okay, very good. Because yours is a layer one blockchain with
That's right.
with smart. I saw that on the website earlier with smart contract functionality. So that increases the level of decentralization because then other projects can build all sorts of dapps, decentralized applications that could then fulfill on whatever censorship resistant, egalitarian, freedom loving ethos that they might have.
That's right. That's right. So we are basically infrastructure, middleware, and we support dapps. If you would like to build a certain, website of a certain focus, that's on the website that needs to focus on. So for us, we are basically a middleware infrastructure, so we support that in that
Right.
way. Yeah.
Okay, so supporting freedom and diversity and decentralization and censorship resistance. Very good. I like. Okay, right. Well, thanks for clarifying all that. And you did say about people being rewarded for tokens, and you also cleared up because it's not like you're building a Pirate Bay or a LimeWire. You're building like Pirate Bay and LimeWire run on BitTorrent. You're building the IBC equivalent of BitTorrent. Is that a fair metaphor?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can think of it that way, whereby we're a blockchain which is peer-to-peer on top of Cosmos SDK.
Right.
And we believe in the Cosmos ecosystem. Basically, the vision is Internet of Blockchains, and it's
Yeah.
very, very suitable for us developers to build a very sovereign, so-called sovereign projects, individual with their own characteristics, right? And one of the more interesting things that we have done is to make it EVM compatible.
Right. Okay. Now, for those that don't understand, EVM compatible Ethereum virtual machine means that applications can run on the Ethereum network. It's a code that can communicate with Ethereum. So, like Polygon and also Evmos. There and I can't think of any others, but there are others. Binance Smart Chain, there's one. They're all EVM compatible, so then projects can be ported over and from and everything. Okay, so that gives it great functionality, but it also means these drawbacks using Cosmos ecosystem, right? That you're running on the Cosmos. These are the drawbacks that I've noticed with Cosmos compared to Ethereum. Cosmos has faster transaction times and seriously cheap transaction fees. What about the gas? You're missing out on gas fees of up to a $20, $30 a time, like on Ethereum. I do have my tongue in cheek, by the way, right? And also with the Cosmos ecosystem, there's no risk of load congestion. That's what I've noticed. All the Cosmos ecosystem projects, they're all really, really fast. Apart from Secret Network, because of the privacy, it's not as fast, but it's still much faster than Ethereum. And that's because of Secret Network's privacy protocol, and they are going to be developing that. So no disrespect to Secrecy Network. I hold secret. Okay, all right. So now, what are why is your project going to be successful? Why do you think your project is going to be successful? Because compared to any others, right? Because many projects in all sorts of ecosystems, they fall by the wayside. So what thinks you're going to have a shot at it?
Right, Rich. So, I mean, all I can say is that I believe every project in the blockchain space each have their own, I would say, unique selling point,
Mhm.
in a way that they all have their own way of uh, target market, their own unique selling point, and ours is basically an AI powered content delivery network. It's very unique in the sense there's very few projects that do what we do. I can count by the handful with both
Right,
of my hands.
right,
And it's a very challenging, technically challenging, like, endeavor on its own. We've been building it almost for many years. To give you a bit more color, aioz is formed about 13 years ago. We are a deep tech company. We're in AI and we're in blockchain, which we started from AI first. And we have written white papers in very, very rank A peer-reviewed conferences, and then we also built solutions for corporations. Right, they want a very customized solutions because AI is not a one size fit all at the end of the day. And 2017 itself, we started to have a team to build purely on blockchain, and that we wanted to have utility, wanted to think. We're developers, and we wanted to find out how we can, I mean, merge this technology our blockchain with something of use, right? So we've been in the playing with video for a long time, because AI is really about computer vision, and we play a lot of videos. We understand the pain points. Separate on a note, it's just that we wanted to make it a distributed way of storing it, so that whenever we want to access it, it can be easily accessible, right? And it's also affordable, right? It's a lower cost of cost of barriers should be lower than what we're doing. So that's what we're trying to do, and that's why I think by having this project that we built, we believe, right, having a decentralized distributed media file storage distribution, it is a very very important, I would say, future for Web3.
Hmm.
In order to bridge into a Web3 world where everything is P2P, everything is peer-to-peer, we have to have the infrastructure side,
Right.
to be enabling that, yeah,
Right.
to power that, yeah.
And how does the AI work with the blockchain? Like, why? Well, that's it. How does it work with the blockchain?
Right. So AI and blockchain is so-called two different worlds, right? One is completely really centralized. One is completely the vision is to be decentralized. So the way we apply AI is basically on the infrastructure layer, on the routing, and then potentially into our GPU transcoding, right? So it's very technical. But I'll also give you a bit more color. Since this year, um, I've already tasked the AI team to build a AI solution for the blockchain. And what it entails is basically decentralized compute, because we're in the compute business.
Right.
Think of it that way, right? We're in the compute of storage, delivery, transcoding, right? Two of which is down, two out of three. And the AI team, which is separate from blockchain team, are now tasked with a huge uh, vision, which is how do we build a decentralized AI, whereby uh, models, right, that AI scientists build, how do we keep them into a decentralized way, yet having it encrypted, right? Nobody wants to upload algorithm and then it's open up for free, and then there's no value to the person who is uploading it, right? But yet um, we keep it secure, and yet we perform the output, the requirement that the model requires, right? So
Okay.
that's I believe AI, if it's on blockchain on the decentralized way, will be towards this direction, decentralized AI on a compute level. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so then what it works out in terms of the transcoding, this is how I understand it, right? So like information packages can go this way or this way or this way or this way or this way, for example, and then the AI can calculate which is where is it most needed and which is the most efficient. Should it go this way? Should it go this way? Should it go? Would that be correct? Like a very basic.
Yes. Yeah. Very basic. Is definitely, we route the best files. The optimal file to the bandwidth that is sufficient to capture that file. We
Right.
cannot stuff the channel, right? So if it's a very big, I would say the bandwidth, the pipe is large, we give a better resolution. If the bandwidth is lower, we want to give it a lower file. That's a
Right.
very simple way of just explaining it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to keep it simple. Otherwise, I'm
Yeah.
going to get completely lost, right? And when are you launching the project? Like in terms of when can people use these applications?
Mm. So currently we're at a stage where we have enabled the Cosmos SDK. We are connected to IBC. Very soon we'll connect to the Gravity Bridge, which allows the full EVM compatibility. And then we're also building out a middleware infrastructure layer, which is a S3 compatible service and also IPFS service compatible. So later on, developers can then build on top of that and build, like, let's say, a Dropbox storage solution. And for the IPFS protocol that we've enabled, um, developers can build a NFT platform that requires an IPFS protocol.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And for people who don't know, IPFS is a decentralized protocol that's already there. It's older than blockchain. And I don't know, is that what BitTorrent uses or it's a different one?
Yeah, slightly different.
Slightly different. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
right.
No, no, PeerTube is on IPFS, and then there'll be other decentralized protocols that have nothing to do with blockchain that are on IPFS. And it's old,
Right.
it's established, it's robust, like BitTorrent, like Bitcoin. Okay. Now, you've been going for a while. You've said, good. I didn't know that. How have you been funding yourself?
Mm, Right. So 2 years ago we did an IDO, 2021 in April,
Mhm.
and we've used the funds from there as well. And also I have funds from my main company, which is aioz, right, which is in AI and also in blockchain. So that's how we've been funding ourselves.
Right. Okay. And how does AI? What does AIOZ stand for? AI is artificial intelligence,
Yes.
and the
So
OZ.
allow me to share with you.
Yeah.
So the meaning of aioz, it means A to Z, input and output, AI first.
Right.
So yeah, input output is a very basic computing sort of uh, vocabulary. So
Okay.
it is something that we wanted to merge together. A to Z means that we would code anything, we would do everything. We developers are, So that's
Oh, okay. I
what
get it.
essentially it means.
So IO in the middle is input output, and then A to Z at the tail end from here to there, right, covering everything, and then AI at the beginning. Oh, very clever, artificial intelligence. Now I got it. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Now, airdrops, because I missed the IDO, right? And one of the things that happens in the Cosmos ecosystem is companies grow by airdrops. So
Mm,
I'm wondering, and I'm sure people familiar with the Cosmos ecosystem are going to be
mm.
wondering, will you be having an airdrop?
Yes, Rich. So at the moment, we're not planning any yet.
Mhm.
Perhaps after some studies or some thoughts, we'll give it some studies. For the moment, we don't have that. Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody wants to get involved in your project, they want the aioz tokens, how would they get some?
Yes. So there are two ways. One is to participate by being part of the ecosystem, downloading the application, and you'll be rewarded with the tokens for providing the computational resources. And the second way, of course, is currently available in the various DEX and SEX on that side of the world. It's in ERC and as well as in Binance Smart Chain.
Right, but not yet on the Cosmos ecosystem because you've not.
Not yet.
Not
Yes.
yet. Okay, and then once it is, it'll be available, I imagine, on Osmosis.
Right. We will probably have to open up the channel to Osmosis or the DEX that's available at the time, and yes, open it up
Okay, so
through
people.
layers.
Okay,
Yes,
on various centralized exchanges, and they can also get it on Uniswap and I imagine PancakeSwap.
that's
Yes,
right.
very good.
Yes,
And at some point, Frontier, once you enable that.
that's right. That's
Okay,
right.
all right. And then you said people can download the application and get rewarded in the tokens. Is that
Mhm.
something they can do now?
Sure. I mean, if you have a Windows base, you have a Mac OS or Ubuntu, the application is available right now.
Right.
All we ask is to keep the bandwidth open. Um, that's
So that
very
means
important.
I got to keep my computer on.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay. And then I download the application, and then I'm going to be rewarded in tokens for the bandwidth that I'm allowing the network to use.
Hmm.
Now, will that slow my computer down?
Well, that's what I think a lot of questions are being asked. So we basically use unused resources. We're
Right.
not using a used resource. Anyways, we cannot use that, which is already used. So we're only using something that's unused, right? So um, essentially, we're maximizing the full potential of every device.
Right. Okay. So if, for example, I'm using, I don't know, 60% of my, is it ROM? Is that the one? Or is it
RAM, right?
RAM?
RAM, right?
Right. If I'm using 60% of my RAM, you may be using 40, you may use the remaining 40%, but let's say I up it to 80% that I'm
Mhm,
using, then you'll
mhm.
use it, lower yours to
That's right.
20%.
That's right.
Okay. But doesn't that increase the risk of the computer jamming or getting slow?
Mm, I mean, the computer itself is a CPU is a very smart device. It automatically calibrates itself, and then we follow the computer BIOS system, everything, the protocol. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like we will stuff it and make the computer unworkable or
Okay.
just completely smoke it. I don't think that it would.
Do you know that's a very good answer, right? Because someone like me who's not technical,
Right.
well, okay, to me it seems like a very clever question, but it feels like no, right? But your answer makes complete sense because if you were to do that, well, the project wouldn't succeed; it would fail, right? Somebody would
Yeah.
download and say, "Oh my God, my computer's blown up." Well, that's pretty much the end of the project. So you've refined it. You use it in such a way that it's efficient for the person who's downloaded the application, and that they get rewarded in tokens, which I suppose are then immediately liquid. And
That's
then
right.
okay. Now, how are the tokens created? What's the tokenomics of the project?
Mm, right. So currently we have about in the IDO we have about 1 billion tokens issued,
Mhm.
and then we have a 9% inflation, which for stakers and for validators. Yes.
Okay, and where can people stake it?
Yes, we have. Yes. So if a user has tokens, they can go to our EOS network, the wallet, and stake with the. I think we currently have about 50 validators available.
Right. Okay. That's interesting for an EVM machine, EVM
Compatible.
compatible project that it's
Yes, sir.
stakeable.
On
Okay.
Cosmos SDK. Yes.
Yes, but it's okay. All right, but you're not yet in the Cosmos ecosystem interoperable fully yet. Okay,
Yeah.
but you can
I
stake
mean,
it.
well, we have already connected the IBC layer to the Cosmos hub. The relay layer is already touched. We've already connected. So now the way Cosmos requires every project is to open layers. So we need to open it up. And also we're taking step-by-step approach. We care about security very much. We're very concerned about security, to be honest.
Sure.
So give it time. We want the system to be mature itself, and we will take the necessary steps. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Which makes complete sense because when would you say your project started?
I would say 2018, 2017,
2018,
even before.
2017,
Yeah.
2018. Okay,
Mm.
and it makes complete sense for you to go slowly, because that's what it takes to build a business. Really, that has lasting power. So like
Yes.
all of them, slowly, forward, slowly, versus what people want in crypto. I want Lambo now. No, no, that's not what it takes to build a viable long-term business. For that, you might want a coin with a dog or a frog on its face. Okay, all right. And you said security is really important. How how do I know that I open up my bandwidth and everything that my computer's not going to get infected with all sorts of nonsense and
Right.
ransomware and spyware and things?
Yeah. Great question. So number one, the files that being spliced that comes to the device are all encrypted. That's number one.
Mhm.
Number two, so-called ransomware or um, I would say spying or hacking that requires a user actions. FYI. So that
Right.
means a user typically needs to click on a file and it activates. It doesn't necessarily activate on its own, right?
Okay.
So if there is no user interaction, with first of all, it's encrypted. The user, no matter what clicks on it, it cannot even get to the file. That's the first. Second, it also requires the user to go in and really click it, and then the file gets activated. So none of which is going to occur on our network. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
right.
Okay. Yeah. And as a general warning for people, because I do get, and I'm sure you do get spam emails, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm getting emails about, so it could be any hardware wallet, but I'm getting you ones for Trezor. And this is no disrespect to Trezor at all, right? It's people capitalizing on that name, saying, oh, we found an error in your balance. We'd like to send you some XRP, right? So click on
yes,
this link, and then we can send you the right balance. And then, of course, I don't click on that link. I report it as spam because if I took that action, then who knows what it's going to download
right,
to my
right.
computer.
So typically it's a social engineering,
Yeah.
and that's where it requires users to actually click on a link. So it's always best to type in the address that the user wants to go to on the user owned keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say even before you do that,
Mm,
because one of the ways that I tell is, if I look at where it's been sent from,
mm.
that's not the Trezor website. That's not the Trezor website. Yeah, it's
Yes,
some made up name with Trezor in the middle or something.
yes, yes,
Okay,
correct.
so that's useful. All right, and then I could, after this video, if I wanted to, go to your website, aioz.network, download the application, and start earning crypto straight away by sharing my bandwidth.
Absolutely. That's what we want. And the more users participate, the more robust our system will be, and it'll be more decentralized, more bandwidth to share. And
Okay,
I think the dapps will uh, basically have a better experience, and you, in turn, you and me, the users, will also get I would say, the effect from it, the network effect. Yeah.
right. Now, for the uploaders, do they need to pay in AOIZ tokens or when you do the live streaming? Because what's
Mm.
the economy for the tokens?
Right. So that will be at the debt level. So the debt has to pay, I would say, the middleware service, right? So the tokens, and of which the middleware will then need to reward these nodes with tokens for providing these services
Right,
out.
okay. And then a dApp that once it's set up could then go to a DEX or a SEX to purchase the token.
Yes.
Then they're able to.
Yes.
But why would they do that? Why won't they just go to another platform or another system to build a
Right.
dApp.
You're right. So dApps can actually use a centralized way currently available, which is the Web 2, or they can go and be completely Web 3 by having a Web 3 infrastructure participating with them, right? So currently the Web 3s, they typically have AWS or GCP or Microsoft Azure of the likes, right, to power the entire ecosystem, which is good, which is very, very strong and powerful, and it works, you know. So for us to is a new technology. I mean, new way of communicating and expressing this so-called peer-to-peer sharing, right? So that is basically the vision of Web 3, right? So it is a full circle. Yeah.
Okay, but what's the business case for a dApp? Because that's what they're going to be interested in. You know, AWS and the other services, they're established,
Mm.
they're possibly secure, right? But they're centralized, but they are established and reliable, and
Yeah.
people know them and everything, right? So why shouldn't a dApp just build on that? Why come to aioz network?
Right. So the one of the selling points for the network is basically cost. We're definitely more cost efficient than a centralized version. That's one. So they can have enormous cost savings by
Right,
building on top of us. Because by default, if you think about it, the costs are distributed across all the peers,
right.
right? And the splice and distributed. So the cost itself is very lower. They don't pay us, the EOS network. The dApps have to reward and pay the tokens to the nodes. Whoever participate, you and me, whoever device that participate, they are the ones getting it. Yeah, right. So obviously later on we want to build a middleware infrastructure too, whereby we create more and more value, more and more utility. So currently we're going to build an S3 compatible storage, which creates utility, the IPFS enabler, right, protocol also, so it creates utility. So from there, and then potentially in the future we will create another dApp, in the likes of decentralized YouTube or decentralized TikTok or Instagram. We'll also push forth because currently we have one dApp. Well, it's a proof of concept. It's called
Mhm.
aioz.tube. If you like, you can just understand it. Basically, it's a very, very raw, right, um, website, but its function is clear. The files on the website are all distributed across all the nodes. And currently, you and I, whoever download the application at this stage, is basically powering this aioz tube at the moment. So that is essentially what we're doing. Because if we don't build the aioz tube, if you think about it, and the device is downloading the application, there is no uh, function, right? There's no tube. There's nothing to push the media, and it becomes redundant. So we needed to build a vertically approach to explain to the world what we do. Yeah, in a sense. So that's why it took us years, because we're building so many cogs in the system to make sure it works. And
Yeah,
then later, and that was 2 years ago. We built the entire system up vertical approach. Now we go back and focus on the infrastructure layer where we're ready. We're building up slowly but surely, and then we push up again one more time,
right.
going
Okay,
upwards. Yeah.
very good. All right, and then how are you going to get the word out? One to people who are going to make their bandwidth available, but also to businesses and projects that might be interested in building dApps. How are they
Right.
going to find out
So
about you?
yeah, so we definitely have to market ourselves to devs. Very important to explain to them what is the benefit, or why should you build on top of aioz network, because we are the Web3 infra for you, right?
Right,
But the cost is definitely lower. We have to participate in events. We have to go on the social media. We have to explain ourselves so that they create awareness. Even speaking with you, Rich, is also getting awareness to your viewers that we exist. We are a project. What we do, please DYOR. Understand better. Essentially, what is the main gist of what we're trying to build? Yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So just to sum up, you're building a Web 3.0 AI enabled infrastructure layer for decentralized, for peer-to-peer file sharing, information sharing, storage, and streaming. And these projects can build decentralized applications on your decentralized layer at lower cost and greater efficiency than existing Web 2.0 providers. And then individuals like myself and others watching this can earn crypto aioz tokens just for sharing redundant spare capacity on their CPUs which increases the decentralization of this project. Well, that doesn't sound too shabby. Now, if people want to find out and they want to get involved, what should they, apart from watching this video and just subscribing to my channel, what should they do? Where should they go?
Sure. Yes, please visit aioz.network. It gives you a bit more color, a bit more information, and also the application to download from according to your device OS.
Right, okay. And then also I'll have the links in the description below for the website, but also the Telegram and Twitter group. And I do recommend people check this out. I'm thinking, okay, I need to get my I've got a spare laptop. I need to get that up and running, right?
Please do.
Sitting in
Yeah,
the
we need
corner,
every
right?
one device. Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need
yeah.
every single device out there. Yeah.
That's right. But then I'll be like ticking over, collecting aioz tokens. So another passive income project, which I
Yes.
like, very, very useful. Is there anything you want to say before we finish up? Anything we haven't covered?
Yeah, so I want to thank everyone, of your viewers, yourself, for allowing, giving me the opportunity to explain the project, in earnest. And I will also request your viewers to DYOR, to really, really understand first, right? What with all the different projects out there, I know everyone is trying to comprehend, So I think thank you very much, for your time as well to your viewers for listening and hearing
Yes,
together.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Erman. Everybody's watching. Links in the description below. If you have any comments or questions, go on, post some comments. Give me the ticker symbol. If you're watching this video and you stayed all the way through this, right? Please do me a favor and give me the ticker symbol for AOIZ, which is AOIZ. That could be your comment. Really, really appreciate it. Erman, thank you. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Erman signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.